all of these offering of the Mahasankhatana, we are offering all our merits, blessed fortunes for all beings, no matter how much difficulties has been since Vietnam War, fighting among one another, killing one another, being so stupid, the beings remaining everywhere. The living must be in a way of helping one another, not hurting and harming each other. Therefore, all the merits and blessed fortune that is offered today and from the past, let it be offered to all beings in all the countries, in all territories, for those who passed away since the past until now, whether they are relatives or not, let them be part of this. Whether they are friends or enemies, let them be part of this all together. Don't separate whether they are friends or enemies, the beloved or hatred. Let's help one another all together. Let there be liberation altogether without separating religions, doctrines, and sects. Let's reach one another throughout. Therefore, liberation of suffering will be for all. Opening to give as such at every time. Do water blessing to be the medium, a symbol for giving altogether. Together with all the sharing, donation, wherever you give in societies, share your merits throughout for all beings, not just thinking of one's own relatives. The whole samsara is your siblings, is your relatives. Let them be your parents, fathers, mothers, husbands and wives. Let them be your friends. Open up widely towards the world and samsara, sharing merits, all the materials and refined offerings. Don't find liberations anywhere. It's from your mind. There is no need to choose temples, religions, practicing good, bad. No need to choose. Sharing all humans and non-humans and animal kingdoms. Don't think of those who are having less or more dharma. Even sharing to animals you can do. Therefore, don't think when you give purely, giving in a way without expectation in return. Bless them all within this physical world and samsara. Sharing the liberation for one another, sharing the brightness for one another. Do not separate whether they are our parents or not, relatives or not. The whole samsara is our relatives, our parents. The mind without attachment, more than big heart, opening up widely. All the giving from the past or from today, use water as the medium. From the hell realms to the Brahma realms, all the woeful realms to the high realms. Pour water to share your merits and giving at every time. That's all that Luang Por have left for you. Don't be narrow, just for oneself, one's own relatives, just one's own religions. Religions are universal in the physical world. They don't belong to anyone particularly. Don't separate anything. Don't quarrel. That is stupid. Don't separate anything or divide anything. This temple, that temple. Strict practice, loose practice. These are no liberation at all. Everything is derived from the non-attachment. Therefore, is subjected to this, to the non-attachment as it is. Non-attachment on its own. Start to offer. Tell all beings to be part of this offering all over, throughout. Today's offering, whether it's materials or money, let's distribute them to all temples around here. Together with some places that need help, that they lack of all these materials, necessities. Do the giving for all groups of beings, for all lives and souls. Many groups of beings, after death, they have no chance to make merits, to be brightening. They were born at the times of quarrels. Therefore, the life has been wasted. And then they were in difficulties in the spirit world. The physical body was dead, but the mind was not dead either. They didn't do merits while they were alive. Therefore, let's share all these merits to help them liberated from suffering. Humans and non-humans altogether liberated from sufferings. You also will be liberated from suffering as well. There is no need to waste the time to practice, to make it complicated. To grasp for anything is not liberated. When you give, liberation is there. Give a lot. This is an example. But when you give, share many times, share your merits many times during the day and night. Because samsara is tremendous. Humans is very little, but the non-humans are in great numbers. You just don't see them. There are a lot that are invisible. So use the way of giving. Then it will not be obstructed. It's beyond friendships. The enemies will disappear. This is beyond friendships. It is liberated, helping through liberation of sufferings. Emotions of enemies will be gone. Share your merits, child. Don't sit in meditation for attainment. The mind open well. Not to take anything into account among one another. Mai to mai. This is the conclusion of cutting within itself. Purifying through the extinction, child. Mai is cutting. Mai to Mai. This is the mighty force of cutting through the mind, the heart. Helping through cutting for one another is reaching one another automatically. This is not to practice awareness for attainment. All Dharma, awareness, concentration, wisdom is anatta. Liberation is not about anything. Don't practice for attainment. It's wrong. Because it's going to be trapped. It's a realm of existence in itself. Buddha said, non-attachment. That's it. Just don't attach. That is my. Concluded into the word. The first word is my. My yit, not attached. No, not none. Conclude well. Everything has to be my to my altogether. Non-attachment to non-attachment altogether. One sentence can be brightening. It's not about practicing for attainment. It's impossible to grasp for liberation or detachment, because when there is grasping, it's not liberated. To grasp for liberation, there is no liberation at all. It's not about grasping. That means it's non-attachment. Just my. It's not much, yeah? In order for other giving, do it in societies according to factors. Social works support those places like orphanage that needs help, schools, hospitals. You can help them in those societies. Share, sacrifice. Don't use the center of giving only at the temples. They are spilling over already, overloaded already. And temples, after overloaded of giving, it must be sharing out as well. The same here at Luang Por's temple. Not taking in, but sharing and helping, whether it's hospitals, schools, government offices, villages. If they are in difficulties, help them all. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, they are all humans. They are in the cycle of birth, old age, sickness, and death as well. Why separate this religion, that religion, and quarrels? The way to not quarrel is to give, to help one another. Then there will be no quarrels. Not helping, not giving one another, then there is separation. It will create separation line. For a long term, there will be quarrels. It will be troubling that follows. Within this world and samsara, to enable to live together is because of supporting one another, helping one another. You have to know that this is not expecting anything in return. Together with making merits, do it, and that's it. Helping, and that's it. Don't expect anything in return. The mind is liberated by itself. Making merits as well. Don't practice for attainments. You can make merits. Let it be bygone on its own. Liberation is there by itself. It's not liberated because you're praying, you're begging for something in return. That's why it's fixated. By making merits and donation, it can be liberating. Giving, and that's it. When you give food to chicken, dogs, cats, you don't pray for anything, right? You give animals food. No one begs for anything in return. You give, and that's it. That is pure. Pure giving. Giving to Buddhas, Arahants, the ordained ones. This or that. How the ordained ones are in different robes. shaved or not shaved, give them and that's it. There's no difference. It has nothing to do with religions. Ordinary people, you can share and help them. Giving and that's it. Liberation is right there on its own. This is beyond meditation, beyond practicing vipassana and kamastana meditation, because that is to grasp for something, to take something from it, from that practice. Practicing vipassana in order for something, right? How can it be liberated? Grasping for awareness, concentration is all anatta. How can you grasp it? Concentration is anatta. It's not substantial, it's made up temporarily. If you don't make it up, it won't exist. How can you grasp for that kind of thing? Then it's not liberated. Paul is direct to you. No consideration here. It's just emotions that is made up temporarily. Know how to spend life. Life that is not attached to itself. Life is temporary. Therefore, you have to omit all in a way without taking things into account. Each flower blossoms out and discards itself. No flowers that blossom and stuck there in the blossom state. Even fake flowers don't stay forever like that. Everything blossom out and discard itself. For life as well. Have to enable to not taking things into account. Liberation is not anywhere, it's not in the forest, it's not in the space, it's not in the air. Just know how to not take things into account, mind to mind. Non-attachment to non-attachment. Shortly like this, okay? Let's distribute all these material offering or money, share towards the audience. Just appropriately sharing. It's for sharing, not to take. Paul is here not to take anything, blessing all the way, not to take anything from it. Coming here to give, to bless. There's no need to ask any questions. It's going to be too much. The answer is, in order to be liberated, you have to be amidst everything in a way without identifying with everything, with all matters. This is not to practice vipassana, kamastana for attainment, practicing mindfulness, concentration, meditation for attainment. You can get something, but you can get realm of existence instead. It's karma in Dhamma, and it will be destined into realms of existence if you fixated to mindfulness, concentration. When you pray for something, you will be fixated to merits, making merits for merits. This will be destined to certain realms of existence. It's not liberated at all. With everything, it has to be bygone. For liberation, there is no steps, no paths, no methods. If there are methods, it's gonna become realms of existence immediately. Desire intervenes right away. Liberation has nothing much, just don't mind, don't identify amidst all and everything as usual. It's not something in the middle of anything. Just don't take things into account, don't identify. with everything. That's all. Blossom out and discard itself. No grasping for liberation itself. There's not much. Either liking or disliking, just a hosi only. Forgive. A hosi. Forgive. Asking for forgiveness and giving forgiveness. When you are the victim, just give forgiveness to be liberated altogether. But if you are the doer, you are the offender, then ask for a hosi, for forgiveness, so that you can be liberated from all emotional karma altogether. Don't let it remain. Otherwise, it's not ending. Always back and forth, doing one another, offending one another is endless, lifetime after lifetime. There's always clashes because we live together in this world, in the family, in the living. Just forgive. That's it. That is giving the liberation for one another. Don't keep it as emotional karma within. Don't enjoy eating and taking a trip, playing and all that. Beware. It has to go further than reserved manners, child. Break through it. With everything must be open. The brightness that radiates in all directions is not composing within. The composure is the composing of suffering, composing anicca, dukkha, anatta. Therefore, leave it. Put down the putting down itself. No grasping for the non-grasping itself. With everything is non-attachment on its own. This is not to compose it. This is suffering. It's detaining the suffering within. Must open. Open up in a way without identifying. Unwinding, discarding itself. That is blossoming, discarding itself. There is no need to search for liberation of suffering anywhere. These searches are the suffering itself. Just be amidst everything in a way without identifying only. Just don't take things into account. If you have to die, go for it. If you have to be pain, go for it. Be amidst it without giving meanings and significance. It's organized for you. It's your fate from your karma. You have to die. You have to be pain. You have to be old. Go ahead. Go for it. Just be amidst everything without identifying. The more of rejecting, the more suffering added on. is already organized for you, karma. Karma and its retribution is fated for you. All the great blessed fortune is also organized for you. But just be amidst everything without attachment, in a way without identifying, without giving significance and meanings. It's coming and it's going. Good thing or bad thing is the same, coming and going. Is subjected to liberation of suffering. Don't choose whether good or bad. Non-attachment, liberation. If you choose it, you choose goodness. It's gonna be not good within the goodness, because choosing is the desire and delusive attachment in itself. It's not liberated. It's coming and going. Good or bad is the same thing. It's even. It's anicca. It's always coming and going. It's anatta, meaningless in itself. Therefore, just not be deluded to choose. Choose neither. Let it coming and going on its own. Once there is no choosing, liberation is within itself right there. Tell those who bless beings, who enable to bless, on the route Hanoi to Halong Bay, there are remaining karma a lot, has been overlapped on top of each other throughout the dimensions on the route. Bless them much more. Actually, everywhere, all routes from north to south, they are full on because of the remaining from the killing. Actually, Luang Por has been to Vietnam to bless for many times, but still there are many remaining. A great number still remain. But just open up widely. Wherever you sacrifice and give, share your merit throughout all beings. Opening the minds, whatever merit that is there, say it out loud to share the merits throughout in every places, for humans and non-humans, for all of them. Help one another. It's impossible to be among just humans because all dimensions overlapped here too. Because if we live together and if they're suffering, it's impossible for you to be happy. Because linking is reaching each other within your mind. Therefore, help one another, share and give. Let it be liberated, no matter which levels and realms. If Luang Por open for questions, there will be a lot. Luang Por asks Ahosi for that because it's gonna pop up. One day will not end. Therefore, the answer is already said for all issues, especially all about giving, intangibly and tangibly. The fruits of merit must be shared. Liberation will be by itself. There is no need to set up anything in return. For liberation, amidst everything, without identifying for everything, don't use rejection. your blessed fortune and karma is fated for you already in this way or that way. But amidst everything like that, without identifying, the mind will be unwound all by itself. All the delusion to be fixated to anything will be released all by itself, blossom out of itself. That's it. So